Now, I'm currently on my 9th year of dividend investing, buying dividend paying stocks and ETFs more or less every single day the market's been open. And I have to be honest, ever since JEPI, the JP Morgan Equity Premium Income ETF, started trading along with its brother or sister, JEPQ, the NASDAQ version, I've been pretty much adding shares into my long-term portfolio that is, up until recently at least, gathering a lot of shares and a lot of dividends along the way. But in this video, I want to single out my position as of right now of JEPQ, the JP Morgan NASDAQ Equity Premium Income ETF. I currently have around 491 shares of JEPQ at an average cost of around $47 per share. Now I'm going to share with you guys how much income JEPQ has paid me over the years, along with everything you need to know about this ETF if you might be interested into it, or maybe you already hold it. So if you're a dividend investor, and especially if you hold JEPQ or have ever thought about it, make sure to stick around, drop a link down below, and let's get right into it. My A to Z dividend investing ebook has helped countless dividend investors get started with their journey. And my custom dividend tracker that I'm constantly using here on the channel has also helped so many investors stay on track and allow them to see their dividend income in real time. Well, today I have another treat for you guys. I'm not only going to offer you my A to Z dividend investing ebook and the custom dividend tracker, but also just for a short limited time, I'm going to be adding in my brand new weekly dividend blueprint ebook to show you how you can get started with weekly dividend ETFs and add this into your investing strategy. This offer is not going to last long, so go ahead and click the first link down below in my description, and you're going to get both ebooks and the custom dividend tracker bundle. But like I said, please act fast because this won't be around for long. Now let's get back into the video. Now first off, because I currently have around 491 shares of JEPQ, I wanted to share with you guys how much I have invested into this ETF. I have invested around $24,000 across all my shares, across all my portfolios. Now, one of the many first cool things about JEPQ that we'll talk more about later is the fact that the ETF is not only up since I started buying it, but it's actually up quite a bit, considering the ETF has offered a historical yield of around 11%. Now, based off the average dividend payout of around 45 cents for JEPQ every single month, as of right now, just from JEPQ alone, and this is for several months and years now, I've been getting paid around $200 per month, which I've been using that cash to invest into whatever else I have my eyes on throughout the markets for my long-term portfolio. But backing up for a second, I want to go through JEPQ, the JP Morgan NASDAQ Equity Premium Income ETF, and share with you guys what this ETF is, how it works, because again, maybe there's some newer investors watching this video that might have their eyes on this ETF, but maybe are still on the fence. So heading over to the fact sheet for JEPQ, it says designed to provide current income while maintaining prospects for capital appreciation. So this means that this ETF is going to be seeking income first, more or less, and then capital appreciation sort of as a secondary goal. Now, this is pretty common when it comes to income-focused ETFs, but it's important to mention that even if there's other income-focused ETFs out there that do also offer NASDAQ 100 exposure, it doesn't mean that you're buying into the same thing that JEPQ offers. You have to understand exactly how the ETF is built and their exact objectives and strategies. Now, the approach for JEPQ says it generates income through a combination of selling options and investing in U.S. large cap growth stocks, seeking to deliver a monthly income stream from associated option premiums and stock dividends. Also seeks to deliver a significant portion of the returns associated with the NASDAQ 100 index, but with less volatility. And lastly, constructs a long equity portfolio through a proprietary data science-driven investment approach designed to drive portfolio allocations while maximizing risk-adjusted expected returns. So far, the ETF seems pretty straightforward. It's going to offer you NASDAQ 100 exposure, which is a great index in my opinion, an index that's grown like crazy over time, and that offers exposure to several single stocks that have very high implied volatilities. Now, as far as the monthly dividends from JEPQ, they're sort of all over the place depending on what happens during a specific time frame. But like I said earlier, on average, I read in an article as of recent, I think it said that JEPQ has offered like an 11% yield more or less since inception. But again, depending on the month, we have a 49-cent dividend payout, a 62-cent, 59, 54, 48, 45, 45, 50, etc., etc. Now, this is one of my main issues when it comes to JEPQ. I know it sounds small and silly, but I really want to be investing into income-oriented ETFs that I have a little bit more of an idea on how much I'm going to be getting paid every single month. Just because for me personally in my long-term portfolio, I do want to use my dividends later on in life to pay for things like bills and expenses. And this could get kind of tricky if, let's say, for some reason I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,000 shares of JEPQ. One month if I get paid 42 cents, the next month I could get paid 62 cents. That's going to differ significantly on how much income my portfolio generates. Now I get it. What you guys are probably saying is that we'll just average it out over the next year or so and just consider JEPQ an ETF that's probably going to pay anywhere from 9 to 10 to 12 to 13%. And although that is true, I personally would never invest heavily into an ETF that I'm utilizing for income generation unless the payouts are a little bit more consistent. Now, while we're on the topic of things I don't like about JEPQ, because trust me, there's only a few things, that's one of them. The other thing I don't like about JEPQ is the fact that the ETF is not trying to generate income as tax efficiently as possible. I mean, there's tons of other income-oriented ETFs out there these days that do have it right in their approach, right in their strategy, that they are trying to provide investors as much income as possible, as tax efficiently as possible. And although that might not be a major deal to some investors, there are different income ETFs out there that do offer more return of capital and more tax-friendly strategies, if you ask me. So now that we got all the things about JEPQ that I don't like out of the way, the ETF has been amazing for several different reasons ever since I started buying the ETF back in 2022. Now, I didn't buy all my JEPQ at one time. I slowly bought some shares over the years, and just up until recently, maybe in the last year or so, I completely stopped buying shares of this ETF just because, like I said earlier, there's other better competition out there these days that also offer high income generation and NASDAQ 100 exposure, if you ask me. Now, if you guys want to see which ETFs those are, check out some other videos. I talk about all my favorite ETFs all the time on my channel. But back to JEPQ, the ETF, just as far as price return goes, since inception is up over 11%. Now that's amazing considering the ETF has offered around 11% yield since inception, and it's amazing because this ETF is a premium income ETF. And in my book, any ETF that offers premium income potential and has grown over time is sort of a bonus on top. Now remember, JEPQ does seek high income generation plus secondarily capital appreciation, so at least as of so far, the ETF has done its job basically perfectly. Now, especially in the high income space, there's tons of ETFs out there these days that not only have not grown, not only have not traded flat as far as price return goes, but have decayed like crazy, and JEPQ is not in that boat whatsoever. I mean, looking at the total return for JEPQ since inception, this is income and price return included. The ETF is up around 53%, which is very impressive considering the ETF has only been trading for a few years. Now that's an annualized return of around 14%, which is not bad whatsoever. Now, even though this video is about JEPQ, I currently hold almost 500 shares of it, and at least as of right this moment, don't plan on selling any JEPQ, although I have trimmed off some JEPI as of recently. I hate to be that guy, but if we compare the total returns for JEPQ compared to GPIQ and QQQI to other ETFs that also offer NASDAQ 100 exposure and high income, which also do so pretty tax efficiently. Not only has GPIQ outperformed on this time frame, but also QQQI has too. Now again, over the single time frame, all these ETFs have offered a nice solid total return, but again, I do think that there's so much other good competition out there these days when it comes to high income ETFs that if you can't choose to buy just one of them, maybe buy all of them. Now that's why I currently have all three of these names and others in my long-term portfolio, just because again, even though they all offer NASDAQ 100 exposure, they all have their own ways of doing so. So after several years of accumulating tons of shares of JEPQ, getting paid out dividends every single month, and actually seeing my investment grow over time, even though this ETF is not my number one favorite anymore when it comes to ETFs that offer high income generation and NASDAQ 100 exposure, it still is a great ETF to look into, especially if that's what you're seeking. So now that I share with you guys the outcome of me purchasing several hundreds of shares of JEPQ over the past several years, I share with you guys the things I like about the ETF, things I don't like as much, and really everything else you need to know. I lastly, most importantly, have a question for you guys down below. When it comes to ETFs that offer high income generation and NASDAQ 100 exposure, what's your favorite ETF as of right now across the markets? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to please drop a like in it and subscribe for more future content like this. This offer is not going to last long, so go ahead and click the first link down below in my description, and you're going to get both ebooks and the custom dividend tracker bundle. But like I said, please act fast because this won't be around for long. Thanks as always for stopping by, and if you are interested in investing, make sure to check out these recent videos I posted right here.